Hades' three-headed dog Cerberus was the guardian of the underworld in Greek mythology. This gigantic hound was not only a seemingly nightmarish creature, but also a symbol of the frontier between the living world and the dead realm. With its three ferocious heads, Cerberus not only struck terror into the ancient Greeks' hearts as they listened to its legends, but also stood as a constant reminder of death's implacable and inescapable power. He was a guardian, a gatekeeper between realities, and one of death's many faces. We'll now plunge into the deepest parts of the Cerberus myth, examining its roots, meanings, and the diverse ways in which this legendary creature has left its lasting mark on Western culture and imagination. Join me at Cerberus's gates and get to know the mystery surrounding the dreaded three-headed dog of Greek mythology. Cerberus was born from the combination of two monstrous figures from Greek mythology: Typhon, a gigantic and mighty monster, regarded as one of the most dreaded forces of chaos and destruction, and the half-woman, half-serpent Echidna, renowned as the mother of all monsters. Their bloodline placed Cerberus among a family of remarkable creatures, including the Lernaean Hydra, the Chimera, and the Sphinx, all creatures embodying distinct aspects of danger and mystery. Cerberus's birth from such fearsome and powerful figures was fated to play a prominent role in Greek mythology. From the outset, he was bound to be more than just a dog with a couple of spare heads. Cerberus was often portrayed as an enormous creature with terrifying proportions and features. His three massive heads are symbolic of the many sides of the underworld, whereas some interpretations imply that these represent the past, present, and future. Others see them as representing birth, life, and death. As well as the three heads, Cerberus is depicted as having a serpent-like tail, adding an even more frightening factor to its disturbing appearance. Often depicted as a living serpent, this tail adds to Cerberus's hybrid nature, blending the features of a dog and a serpent monster reminiscent of its hideous parents. Some versions of the myth have additional serpents emerging from different body parts, such as a mane with numerous ophidians. Cerberus's sturdy, muscular, and towering body was often described as colossal in size, instilling fear and dread in all who came near it. Its needle-sharp claws and huge teeth, perfect for a merciless guardian, added to its intimidating presence. Standing at the gateway to this dark realm where the god of the dead Hades was king, Cerberus was a ferocious watchdog, stopping the dead from escaping from his master's realm and the living from invading it. Other versions say that entry was free and open to anyone, but that would be a one-way ticket and nothing else. Cerberus was not only a guard dog in the traditional sense. Instead, it manifested the essence of the underworld and of Hades itself. Its presence was a constant reminder of Hades' sovereignty and power over the underworld. Cerberus's three ever-watchful heads reflected Hades' ubiquity and his power to watch everything that happens in his domain. Cerberus acted as Hades' jailer and enforced the rulings of the court presided over by the infernal judges. The relationship between Cerberus and Hades also illustrated the respect and fear that the ancient Greeks held for the underworld. With its ominous look and guardian duties, Cerberus epitomized the frightening features of the netherworld, while Hades stood for death's inevitability and justice. They formed a duo to maintain order in the world after death, a key aspect of Greek mythology's worldview. Despite being a tremendous guardian, as one would expect from a dog, especially one with three heads, Cerberus was once outwitted. When the gorgeous Psyche had to descend into the dead world to accomplish a task at the behest of the goddess Aphrodite, she was forced to deceive Cerberus to return to the living realm. She offered the dog special bread soaked in a sleeping pill. It could not resist the lure and ate it, falling into a deep slumber. Psyche escaped from the guardian dog and returned to the surface. Cerberus also appeared in other mythological accounts, such as Orpheus, the legendary musician who attempted to rescue his wife Eurydice from the underworld. Through his spellbinding music, Orpheus succeeded in placating Cerberus, a feat that symbolized the power of art and beauty over brutish forces. Hercules' 12th and final labor is one of the most well-known stories involving Cerberus. This epic challenge tasked Hercules with trapping Cerberus and bringing him to the surface, a feat that represented his triumph over death and the impossible. After being given permission by Hades, Hercules succeeded in subduing Cerberus without using weapons, displaying his strength and guile. Hercules hauled the dog to the surface, and upon seeing the daylight, the infernal dog became nauseous and vomited. The ground absorbed all the hellish vomit, and flesh-eating poisonous plants sprang up. Hercules carried the dog to King Eurystheus' palace and presented the infernal beast to him, completing his 12th and final task. The hero freed the dog, who rushed back to his master's kingdom. When the old hero Theseus stormed Hades' realm to abduct Queen Persephone, he and his lifelong friend Pirithous were taken captive in the underworld. They were held prisoners for many years, but Theseus was eventually freed by Hercules. On the other hand, Hades did not allow Pirithous to be released. Some versions of the myth say that Theseus' friend ended up being devoured by the infernal dog. Cerberus is also mentioned in several ancient literary works, including Homer's Iliad and Virgil's Aeneid, where it is portrayed as an essential element of the underworld. Hades' dog can be viewed in modern psychology as a symbol of the collective unconscious, a symbol of deep-rooted fears and anxieties relating to death and the unknown. Cerberus's 3 watchful and ever-present heads can be interpreted as a display of the human mind's different facets: the id, the ego, and the superego, as per Freudian theory, each holding the entrance to the uncharted and often feared realm of the human unconsciousness. Taking a more philosophical angle, Cerberus embodies death not as an absolute end, but as a threshold, a crossing point between different states of existence. This view reflects the Greek idea that death is transitional, a central and natural component of the life cycle. Cerberus's underworld presence is not only a safety measure or a token of fear, but also a representation of accepting death as part of the natural order of things. It serves as a constant reminder that death is an inescapable reality, but also an essential part of the great cycle of life, death, and rebirth. Cerberus has survived the ages by adapting to new context. In every new story, artistic representation, or game and media adaptation, the underworld hound continues to seize the imagination of new generations, remaining a fascinating and terrifying symbol.